Welcome back, everybody. Derrick Soo, your East Oakland advocate. I'm going to talk today about Oakland GungFu, and I picked out a topic specifically for this because I don't see it spoken or talked about on any other sites except for one. I did find this on one other site, and it's exploding fist technique. And it's a devastating showstopper of a technique when it's properly applied. And the reason why it's called the exploding fist is because when you make contact, right here, your knuckles, these knuckles right here become your trigger to for the exploding fist. And this is a type of technique that it's not for straight on fighting face to face, but if you are off to a side, this is a devastating blow where you're taking a haka swing, a wide sweep, and coming across, and again, your knuckles are going to be the trigger. And then once it makes contact, the 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 slightest contact, that's where the training comes in, that moment of contact. And then all of a sudden the hand opens up. The first one, it looks like a claw, and this expands from here to the fingertips. All of that energy that you released in that blow is devastating, because what it does, it spreads that energy of the blow across a wide area. And this is the type of technique that you use when you're in a position where you can't do straight blows, but you can swing outwards or around, a big haka swing. And then what that does, when it makes contact and it opens up, it spreads that energy, and it where you want to use it is mostly the face, under the arms, right here, just at below the armpit. And when you do it just below the armpit, you can seriously disable a person, because right here you're going to cause a major blood clot. You're going to cause a blood clot right here. And so that's going to immobilize that arm. But also, if it's not treated properly, that person can have some serious health issues long after the battle is won. And so it's right here, and then when it's applied properly, the hand just opens up, just wham, and it just, it's really fast. And it's, I've done it many times before, and it is a showstopper, because number one, these hurt, and it takes time for training. It took me a year and a half to train, to get up to the point where I could actually make the exploding fist work. And then that's with both hands. So you're not training with one hand, you're training with both hands. And that way it gives you more tools, more devastating, show-stopping tools in an encounter. And when it's applied properly, there's the fight stops. I mean, it is a showstopper. I The last time I applied this was back in 2015. I try not to use this because it can cause serious injuries to a person. In fact, the last person that I did, he looked like Two-Face. Half his face was normal looking, and then the other side of his face, from his eyes to his chin, was all black and blue. And then also what happened was that I broke the orbital eye socket, broke his cheek, broke his nose, and knocked out one tooth with one blow. One blow. And it's just a quick snap. I mean, just bam, bam, bam. Just, and you're carrying that energy and the momentum from your knuckles all the way to your fingertips. and then the backside of your hand is also part of that blow. And so you can see how devastating and how large of an area. It's the full hand width from the wrist to the fingertips. That's your blow. It's much bigger than just your standard fist, but you still have the benefit of the initial blow being with the knuckles, and that's the hair trigger that caused your hand to open completely, and in that same move. As soon as that contact is made, it strikes and it spreads that energy in a very wide dispersed area, and it's painful. And this person that he was stealing from me. He had stolen all of my recycle cans. I had 2 bags of recycle cans. I know he was a thief. I was first homeless, and so being first homeless back in 2014, a lot of people tried to take advantage of me because number one, I'm not Hispanic and I'm not black and I'm in this area. And the reason why I say that is because these are the 2 nationalities that told me you don't belong here. This is a black area. This is a Hispanic area. Chinks like you don't belong here. That's what I heard. And so um, when when I saw this person, I knew he was stealing. And he got away from me the first time, but he here's what happened. Not only did he steal my cans, but also I had one of my guns in my shelter, and he went in there and he literally found one of my guns. And but then when he was leaving my shelter, obviously he saw the cans, and so he probably put the gun down on the ground and grabbed the cans. He was so excited and got it to his van, and then that's when I showed up. And so he couldn't go back to my place to retrieve the gun that he left on the ground. And so he started up his vehicle and took off. As soon as I saw him and him taking off, I said, okay, he stole something from me. I got to go see what it is. The moment I found my gun missing, oh man, and that's one of my hot buttons that you do not want to mess with me, is with a weapon. Because if you stole one of my weapons, I am extremely, extremely angry, and it's going to cost you. And this fool, after about 15 minutes, he came back because he probably thought I was going to leave again and walk off. This is when I had Pandora, my Staffordshire Terrier. And anyway, when I found my gun, the gone, or I found my gun, I put it back. I said, that little son of a bitch, he he was trying to steal my gun. He stole my 2 sacks of cans, so that was bad enough. And then when he came back, he parked right back where he was so that he was close to my shelter again. Literally, he was only about 30 feet away from my shelter. And he steals. He stole everything. He was another one like the car thieves. But then also, he was a car thief. How do I know he's a car thief? Because he is homeless. He didn't have any money. He steals everything from the street. And then he happened to be in somebody's minivan when he was there. So I knew he didn't own that. And he tried to tell me that he had a friend that loaned it to him. I said, you don't have any friends out here. Nobody's your friend because you steal from everybody. So anyway, when he came back, uh, there were 2 other people at the site with me, my friends. And as soon as I saw him, and they knew I was already highly angered, and I said, if that SOB shows back up again, he's going to die. And so when he came back up, and I just threw down what I had in my hands, and I just made tracks right to him. And my 2 friends tried to intercept me. They intercepted me at his van, at the window. I couldn't get to him because these 2 friends of mine were trying to be my friend and keep me from getting to this individual, because they knew I was going to take him apart. Because I told them, I said, he's coming out of that van one way or another. He can be seat belted in. I don't care. He's coming out. At least part of him is coming out. Because first thing that I thought of, I was going to snatch him by his long hair. He had long hair. I was going to grab him by his hair and yank as hard as possible, pull him out that window with seat belts and the van in tow. That's how angry I was. And my friends intercepted me. I couldn't get to him directly, but I could get a hand in there, and I applied the exploding fist to him. I mean, his head snapped back, and within seconds, you just see his face swelling up, and it's starting to already turn yellow and blue from that blow. That's how devastating and how much of a showstopper exploding fist can be. And again, like I said, it's a technique that is very unique to Oakland GungFu. Not so much all GungFu itself, because I just don't see it anywhere else. And I've talked to other Sifus, and they look at me. Some of them knew of it, and then there were some that said, "How'd you learn exploding fists?" I, and then we talk, and it's interesting. And the only place that I saw exploding fists spoken about was on um, the Kung Fu Report. Adam Chan, uh, and he's from Canada. And like I said, he's the only one that I ever saw that spoke about exploding fists. But now that you know about it, it takes a lot of training. What you have to do, you have to get it. If you want to train for this, start out with a sandbag, literally a sandbag, and then just start smacking the sandbag with, starting with your knuckles, making contact, and then you shift slightly to put the back of your hand in line with the knuckles as they make contact, and at the same time your hand opens up and spreads the energy. I mean, just bam, 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 like that. And in a second, I mean, right after the blow, everything just started freaking out on his face. Like I said, the swelling was immediate. The color, the color his face started turning different colors. I mean, seconds after the impact, and then everybody's telling him, "You better get out of here before he kills you." And so that person, you know, he put it in gear and never came back. And I saw him a week later on the street. Uh, and the thing is, once I take care of you, yeah, I'm going to look for you. And if I see you, I'm not likely to do anything to you unless you do something to provoke me. And so I just let it go after that. But I looked at that and I said, "Yep, got him good," because literally from his on his left side of his face, from his eyes to his chin, was just black and blue, black and blue. And then his eye was all puffed still. Cheek was pretty puffed up, and somebody told me that he had lost a couple of teeth. So anyway, that's exploding fist, and it's very devastating. It takes time to learn, but again, uh, if you want to learn that, it takes time, and you need to find somebody who actually knows how to do this properly. I've given you the absolute basics on this. It took me a year and a half of training, constant training with sandbags. And then after we go from the sandbags, we go to the hard bag. And once we get to the hard, heavy bag, then that's where your strength develops, and that's where it becomes very devastating. At first, what you're going to do, the purpose of the sandbag, is to get the motion, the memory motion of the blow, and then you start feeling how effective it can be, because you start feeling and your bones start building up, your skin gets harder, and the bones get more dense. And so it becomes a very, very hard blow. It's almost like hitting somebody with a hammer. So that's the exploding fist for today. Oakland GungFu at its best. Thanks for joining me. We'll be right back.